Hi guys, it's Mama Doe Dawn. I am a single mom to a little girl, and I recently started this series on my channel where we are talking about the topic of vaginismus. If you missed my first video, I'll leave that in the description box below so you can go and watch that and understand what exactly vaginismus is. But if you're here for this second video, or if you're here because you already know what vaginismus is, today we're going to be talking about what causes vaginismus. So I want to start out this channel by saying I am not a medical professional. This information is just based on the research that I've done and the experiences that I've personally had on my vaginismus journey. A lot of doctors don't even know what causes vaginismus, and there really isn't like a universal medically agreed upon reason why women experience pain during sex in the terms of vaginismus. A lot of gynecologists don't even know it exists or have never had a patient who openly admitted that they experienced this. But I am here to tell you that it is so common, and if you are experiencing pain during sex, you are not alone. There are so many women out there who just feel ashamed or don't know how to talk about it, don't know how to bring it up to their partners or their doctors, but it happens. It's a real thing. I've experienced it myself. I know what you're going through, and I just want you to know that you are not alone in this, and it's natural, it's normal, and I'm going to try to help you figure it out in this series. Today we're going to be talking about a few reasons of why you may have developed vaginismus. First, I need to point out that pain with sex or inserting a tampon or any kind of penetration can actually be rooted to medical conditions. You could have an STD, you could have some kind of damage done during like a birth experience or a traumatic sexual experience. Even something like an infection, a yeast infection, a bacterial infection down there can cause pain during sex. So if you can and if you're comfortable enough, I do recommend seeing your doctor and letting them know that you're experiencing this pain. If nothing else, they can just rule out all of the medical factors that may be contributing to it. But let's say that medically there is nothing wrong, yet you're still experiencing pain during sex, then you are in the same shoes I was in. There are a lot of different reasons that your body may be tightening up that you don't even realize. Let's talk about it. I do want to stress that this pain is involuntary. You can be turned on, you can be calm, you can be relaxed, you can want to have sex like no other person in this world, and it can still be painful for you. It was for me. One of the first things that I think a lot of people need to reflect on is, do you have any guilt associated with sex? As I already mentioned in my last video, I was raised in a family where sex was considered a very taboo topic, and I was also raised in a Christian household where sex, if you weren't married, was essentially the devil's work. Masturbating was considered a really bad thing to do, and any sex before marriage was basically a sentence to hell. As an adult, I don't really feel that strong of a connection to Christianity, and I don't really follow the Bible or anything like that, but I have full respect for people who do. But I drifted away from that. So you would think that the guilt that I once experienced when experimenting at a young age would have kind of faded with time. But the truth is that's not really the case. It was such an ingrained part of who I was and who I am still today that I do have a sense of guilt when it comes to sex. I have a sense of feeling a little bit dirty, like I shouldn't be doing it, like I'm doing something wrong. And I've worked really hard to get to the point of realizing that it's natural, it's normal, all people want it, doing it is not that big of a deal. But in my subconscious mind, I know still to this day, there is just a little bit of guilt there. And when that guilt is coming through and you don't even realize it, your body can be tensing up just from those feelings of guilt. There's a huge amount of shame. And if you were shamed as a child and taught by your parents that sex was a really bad, really taboo thing, you can kind of still have those ideas ingrained in your mind. You can think that by having your virginity, you're somehow more pure, and if you lose that or engage in anything sexual before you're married or something of the like, whatever your religion preaches to you or just your parents taught you, it can really put this sense of unease in terms of sex within you. Which actually leads me to my next point, another thing that could lead you to tighten up subconsciously, and that's a subconscious fear of sex. With women especially, we are taught at a young age that losing your virginity is a gigantic deal, and we are also taught that it is painful and you will bleed. we're taught about our hymen breaking. There is so much misinformation out there about this specific topic, and I can't even delve into it all in this video, but I'll try to leave some links in the description box below of just good sources that I feel you could read up on this topic if it is something that you find yourself maybe a little bit afraid of, especially the pain. Personally, I was really afraid of the pain. I remember in sex ed class them talking about your hymen breaking and you bleeding. Like, I didn't want to experience trauma in my lady part region, but the truth is very few women have a fully intact hymen. Very few women will even bleed. And if you are bleeding a little bit or do have an intact hymen, it's not going to be this crazy, blood-gushing, super painful experience to have someone break it. Sex is a little awkward at first. It's kind of weird. You're figuring out your bodies. You don't know what angles are working for you. When you lose your virginity, things are just a little different. It's a little different of an experience than when you've done it multiple times and you know what you're doing, you know what your body likes. So yes, things are going to be a little weird, but it's not going to cause any kind of extreme trauma to your lady regions in order to participate in it. So if you do have that fear of the pain during sex that could be coming like full force, you're just anticipating this pain and you don't even realize it, that could be a trigger for your body to tighten up and actually cause you pain. Of course, one of the bigger reasons that a lot of women experience vaginismus is previous sexually traumatic experiences. Obviously, this can be from something like rape or blatant sexual assault, but this can also be from emotionally triggering sexual experiences. Being around someone who made you uncomfortable, who took things too far, who pushed you too quickly. Maybe you lost your virginity before you were ready and you felt like you shouldn't have done that. Maybe you had a boss who was just a little too touchy-feely for your comfort and left you feeling icky after every time you're around them. Sexual experiences don't have to be physically traumatic in order to be actually traumatic. And experiencing those kinds of things can absolutely impact the way your subconscious mind is going to react to sex in the future. This is a really tough hurdle to get over, and from my personal experience, I would recommend seeking out professional help if you can, or if you can't, because I know that's expensive for a lot of people, just finding some really good books, finding a friend or a family member who you completely trust and can confide in, just opening up, beginning to talk about that experience, working through it, reading books that can help you work through it. All of those things are ways that you can really start to heal your mind from that experience, because that experience, of course, can come out in sexual experiences. It can make your body uncomfortable. It can force you to tighten up and cause pain with sex later on, even though you may trust this new partner and feel like you can really bond with them and have a healthy sexual relationship. Sometimes those past things just come into play in ways that you don't realize, and sometimes you need to address those before you move forward and do have a healthy experience with a good partner. Another thing, and a thing that was very, very big for me, is insecurity. If you are insecure about your body, the way you look, the way you're talking, just sex in general, it can make you tighten up. When people are nervous or anxious, their muscles contract. And when your muscles are contracting during sex, it may cause pain. If you're nervous or ashamed of your body or just super self-conscious like I was, to where I didn't want people to like see me with my clothes off, I saw all of my flaws before anything else, that can absolutely be a trigger for vaginismus. These are just a few of the reasons. There are a lot of things within your own mind that can be going on that you don't even realize that are playing a part. These are the things that personally to me, I experienced and probably played a part in my own vaginismus, but there are a variety of things. If you had, a traumatic birth experience or a very hard taxing birth or a lot of pain during birth, all of those things can play back into how you're experiencing sex after birth. There are just so many different little things that can play into vaginismus, and if you can really reflect and try to figure out, what are reasons that I would be uncomfortable with sex? Sit down with a piece of paper and think to yourself, if I'm not going to have sex, why am I not going to do it? Am I ashamed of it? Am I afraid of the pain? Am I scared of someone seeing me naked? Did I have a past experience that may make me uncomfortable subconsciously in the future with being touched? All of those things can absolutely play a role in how you're experiencing sex today. But I do want you to know there's nothing to be ashamed of. This is normal. This is natural. People experience it. We're kind of in society taught two really separate things. One, that virginity is a pure, glorious thing and sex can be painful for women, but that's just part of losing your virginity and men are going to earn it. And then the other thing that we're taught is that women should be sexually free and women can have healthy, really great, enjoyable sexual experiences. Both of those things kind of put this idea in our head that either we're supposed to super enjoy it without any pain whatsoever, or we're supposed to experience pain and that's just the way that is. And neither of those things are totally correct. Some women can really want to enjoy it and experience pain for reasons that they're not even fully aware of. And other women can really fear it because of that idea of having painful sex, and then it makes sex painful even longer than it needs to be. Also, all of the reasons that I listed for vaginismus can also cause erectile dysfunction in men. If you think that this is only a woman's problem and being unable to perform during sex is only a woman's problem, you are so wrong. It is also a man's problem. And your mind and your body in the situation of vaginismus can actually be trying to protect you. They can have a fight or flight response where essentially your body is trying to fight, ward off pain that it's anticipating it's going to have. It's warding off a bad experience by tightening you up and causing you pain in the process. You can 100% trust your partner. You can be lubricated and calm and ready and sexually stimulated, and you can still feel pain during sex. And guess what? The same thing happens to men with erectile dysfunction. They can totally trust their partner. They can be ready and want to go and just be not able to go. Vaginismus can be so disheartening for so many women. It can make you feel out of control of your body, out of control of your relationship. It can make you feel unworthy and even more self-conscious and sad and frustrated and mad. Trust me, I've been there. I get it. Vaginismus is such a hard thing to go through, and it's something so few people talk about. The number one thing that I can tell you in terms of taking the very first step to try to really overcome this illness, I don't even know what to call it, like a disorder, this sexual disorder, that's really what vaginismus is to sit down and reflect on reasons that you may be uncomfortable with sex. This can be a variety of things and different things for every single person. Obviously, every single person has a different history. They have different things that may be playing a part in it, but think back to any negative ideas, opinions, thoughts you've ever had about sex, and then start to work through those. In the next video I post here in the coming days, I will sit down and I will talk with you guys about some ideas and ways that you can start to work through all of the things that I just listed, and to really, I don't want to say even work through your vaginismus, because I think that's like an irresponsible thing to say. Like, there's some ways you can work through it, but to help you begin to heal from it. So if you'd like to come back for that video, that will be posted in the coming days. And if you'd like to just visit the rest of my channel, I'm a single mom. Everything on this channel is, I talk about single mom life. One of the aspects of mom life in general is female sex health. So that's what we're addressing in these videos. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.